So I go up and I pal on with the cat a bit, and he tells me about all the animals he's handled. A zebra once, a seal, an alligator, and 18 ferrets. There's a trout there, too, in the tank. It's going to be caught in the film later on. Quite small. Only they were going to shoot it in close-up so it would look bigger. I sat there and I listened to him talk about animal behaviour. I said, Kenny, this is the kind of evening I like. Two people just talking about something interesting. I woke up in the night and I couldn't remember where I was. And then I saw the cat. Sitting there. Watching the trout. When you've finished a shot on a film, you have to wait and see whether there's what they call a hair in the gate. That's film parlance for the all clear. Thank God there wasn't, because I couldn't have done it again. I'd created Travis. And though it was her lover that got shot, I felt as though it was the something in me that was Travis that died. My lover's name turned out to be Alfredo. That was my big line. Alfredo. He was the head of some sort of crime syndicate, although everybody in the yachting fraternity thought he was very respectable and to do with the building trade. One evening, while Alfredo and me were ashore at a building federation dinner and dance, this young undercover policeman swims out to the yacht to search it in his underpants. However, as luck would have it, Travis has a headache. So her and Alfredo return from this ultra-respectable function with Alfredo in a towering rage. Originally, I was down to say, I can't help it, Alfredo. I have a headache. We tried it once or twice, but Gunter thought it would be more convincing if my headache was so bad that I couldn't actually speak. And Alfredo would just say, you and your headaches. I said, if it's a migraine rather than a headache, Travis probably wouldn't be able to speak. Gunter said, whatever you say. It's wonderful. That moment when you feel a director first begin to trust you, and you can really start to build. Anyway, Travis and Alfredo come into the cabin where they find the young policeman behind the sofa in his underpants. And Alfredo takes out his gun and says, how lucky lovely Travis had a headache and we had to leave our glittering reception. I was cross with her then, but now my mood has changed. Offer the gentleman a drink, Travis. Then go and take your clothes off. There's nothing I like better than making love after killing a policeman. I then retire to the next cabin while Alfredo taunts this spare young policeman and says he's going to kill him. Only before doing so, he tells him about his drug smuggling operation in every detail. The way criminals tend to do the minute they get somebody at gunpoint. When Travis returns with no clothes on, the young policeman is talking about the evil drugs do. All the young lives ruined and so on. Only I forgot to say there'd been some dialogue earlier when I was supposed to be snorkeling. About how Travis had a little brother, Craig. And how he'd got hooked on drugs and how I was devastated and determined to revenge myself on the culprit should I ever come across them. So when you hear the policeman talk about the horror of drugs, see, it comes as a revelation to Travis that her lover is involved in drugs. She thought it was just ordinary crime, stealing electrical goods. Anyway, very quietly, almost pensively, Gunter said, Travis takes out an underwater spear gun that just happens to be on the sideboard. Nigel came over and said, ideally at this point, Gunter would like to see a range of emotions chase themselves across Travis's face. As her affections for her lover, Alfredo, fights with the demands of her conscience and the memories of her little brother Craig. You see my lover's fat finger tighten over the trigger as he goes to shoot the policeman. Only just then I say his name very quietly. Alfredo. Spins around. Travis fires the harpoon gun and you see the spear come out of his back, killing him. And also ruining his linen jacket. They follow that up with a big close-up. Blood and everything. And there's me. With a single tear rolling down my cheek. We did that in one take, which Nigel said was almost unique in the annals of filming. Only Scott had to chip in and say good job, as having one dinner jacket was fairly unique as well. I couldn't have done it again. I had nothing left. Except suddenly I had a flash of inspiration, the way you do when you've been to the ends of the earth and back. I said to Nigel, don't you think that Travis, drained of all emotion by the death of her lover, would cling on to the policeman whose life she's just saved, and they would celebrate this deliverance by having sexual intercourse there and then? Big debate. Gunter really liked it. Only the actor playing the policeman wasn't keen. I think he might have been gay. He had a moustache. Eventually, Nigel came over and said that favourite was for the policeman to look as if he was considering having sexual intercourse and for him to run his hand speculatively over Travis's private parts. Only then pity drives out lust. And instead he covers up her nakedness with an oriental-type dressing gown. The property of her dead lover. Though even at this late stage, you can tell he's not ruled out the possibility. Because as he's fastening the dressing gown, his fingers linger over Travis's nipples. Afterwards, Gunter explained that if there had been any proper funny business at this point, it would have detracted from the final scene. When after all the excitement, the policeman goes home to his regular girlfriend, who cooks him a hot snack and who's a librarian. Then the final scene is of them making love. The message being that sexual intercourse is better with someone you're in love with than with someone like Travis, who's just after a good time. As Gunter said to me that evening, it's a very moral film. Only the tragedy is people won't see it. I said to him, that's interesting. Because I saw it that way right from the start. When we were in bed, I said, if only we could have done this before. He said, Leslie, I make it a rule never to lay a finger on an actress until the whole thing's in the can. I said, Gunter, there's no need to explain. We're both professionals. But, Gunter, I said, can I ask you one question? Was I Travis? Were you pleased with my performance? He said, listen. If someone's a bad actress, I can't sleep with her. So don't ask me if I was pleased with your performance. This is the proof. He's a real artist, is Gunter. When I woke up in the morning, he'd gone. I wandered down for some coffee, only there was no one from the unit about. I wanted to say goodbye to everybody, but they were off shooting establishing shots of the marina. Anyway, I bought a card with a sinking ship on it. But goodbye, gang. See you at the premiere. Left it at the desk. As I was leaving with my bag, Scott was loading the laundry. I said, "Ciao, Scott! It's been a pleasure working with you." He said, "You win some, you lose some." I said, "Back to real life." He said, "Some of us never left it." The film's coming out in Germany, initially. And Turkey, possibly. Gunter says it shall make me quite famous. Well, I suppose I shall have to live with that. Only I'm not just going to sit here and wait for the phone to ring, no fear. I'm going to acquire a new skill. Spoken Italian. Selling valuable oil paintings. Canoeing. You see, the more you have to offer as a person, the better you are as an actress. Acting is really just